Wanted to take an opportunity to welcome everyone back to a new year and new opportunities in the Grand Island Public Schools District. As we look ahead at the year, one of the things that certainly has to be a focus for us is the continuing discussion and decision-making process around how do we reduce our operational costs. And we've shared some messages in the past along these lines, and I really wanted to provide an update on where we're at and what's taking place in that arena. This Thursday, when our Board of Education meets, they will be considering a plan for next year's budget that would reduce the operational costs by $5 million. And so we wanted to take some time to share what that $5 million in reduced costs would mean for the district. So as we think about where we're at in the school business, we're obviously in the people serving people business. So we're not going to make $5 million in reductions without it impacting some of our staff members. There just is no way, when 80% of our operational costs are people, that we can continue to operate with the same number of people and reduce costs by $5 million. So with that in mind, we really wanted to, I guess, assure people that we really do expect that most of those staff reductions that need to take place, and note, I did say most, I'd love to be able to say all, but we really feel like most of the staff reductions that we are going to need to have can be taken care of through the natural attrition. Every year we have a number of staff members that leave the district, and we really think that by moving staff from one position that has been vacated to a position where we needed to do a reduction, by shifting people between those positions, we're really very hopeful that we're going to be able to get through this without having to do a lot of forced reduction in numbers. I think a really good example of how this worked was in 2010. The district was forced with a similar situation, and in that case they were in need of cutting $10 million. And I'm sure a lot of our staff members went through that process, and ultimately, when all of the dust settled, the people across the district who had been in a situation where they were going to lose their job, ultimately every one of those people that wanted to stay with the district was able to do so. So certainly as we look at the reductions that we have at this point, we are optimistic that we're going to be able to keep all of the great people that we have. So what I'd like to do at this point in time is really walk through what we are looking at in terms of cost-cutting measures at each of the different areas across the district. And I'm going to start with our district level operations and talk a little bit about what that's going to mean at the district level. We're going to be sharing some slides with you that I will talk through and hopefully give everyone a pretty clear picture of what we're looking at in different areas for reductions. So first of all, our district adjustments. The district leadership team, which basically would be the cabinet level positions, those people that work directly with me to oversee the overall operations of the district. Within that group, we are actually going to be doing a reduction of one position, and then we are going to not be replacing two individuals who are leaving the district. So we're going to have a total reduction in that leadership team of 3, along with the district administrators that we didn't replace last year. We are going to also be reducing an additional district level administrative position. So at the district level, the highest level, we're going to be reducing 3. We did several reductions in the next level of administrative group last year, and we're going to do one additional reduction there. We're going to be eliminating some of our vendor contracts, such as EAB educational services and our K-12 Insights, the Less Talk. We've already moved away from some of that. So we're going to save some dollars by eliminating those vendors. We're going to be adjusting some of our licensing for our software and the services, the network services that we have across the district. So within our IT, we're certainly having some reductions there. Our communications department is going to be reducing their budget. Overall, the reductions that we are looking at in the district level is going to cover between $1 to $1.5 million of the $5 million that we need to reduce. So that's what we're doing at the district level. Now let's talk a little bit about what our elementary principals in conjunction with the district leadership team has identified as reductions that can take place at the elementary level. First of all, remember that at the elementary level, a lot of reduction has already taken place because we moved our grade bands from smaller class size numbers to a larger class size numbers 2 years ago. And when we did that increase in grade band size, that resulted in a number of decreased elementary staff. So really, as we went into this, we recognized that the elementary was not going to have a whole lot that they could contribute to the current need for reductions. So we're really not proposing any staff reductions at the elementary side. What we are looking at is we're looking at each elementary school reducing their building budget by 10%. So the dollars that we earmark for each school to use for different programs as they see fit will be 10% less for the coming year. One of the other areas where we felt like we could realize some financial benefit was in the preschool, where we're going to be increasing our class size from 15 to 20. And then we're going to make all of our preschool sessions half day. While that doesn't reduce our costs, having more students in our program is going to generate additional dollars that we receive from the state. So again, it's not a savings, but it's an additional revenue source that's going to create some dollars to help address our shortfall. And then finally, we're going to be looking at reducing transportation costs. Most of the before school, after school routes that we have been providing for elementary students are going to be discontinued. We are going to continue to transport those students from Gates and Kinnickrum over to Westridge. So those routes would stay in effect. And then there are certain student groups in terms of our special ed students and some of our other specialized groups that we will continue to provide transportation for. So that's an overview of what we're doing with the elementary staff and the elementary buildings. We also brought our middle school administrators together through a course of several meetings throughout the fall semester, where they identified ways that they would be able to cut their costs at the middle school level. So let's take a look at those. Each middle school building budget, just like we did with the elementaries, in this case we're going to reduce those budgets by 5%. So that will mean a little less dollars for each of those buildings to run some of their elective programs on. We've identified 11 certified staff positions that we feel like we can reduce at the middle level. And we're also looking at reducing 3 classified staff positions. Now, with all of these staff positions at every level, as we know which staff members are going to be impacted, conversations have already begun taking place with those individuals. And we will continue to be having those conversations with the individuals as it becomes more clear which individuals are going to be impacted. So we will be having some further conversations around that. The final thing listed for middle school would be the reduction of transportation costs there as well. Again, we're going to keep those Gates and Connect Room routes to Westridge. We will be continuing to do the after practice evening busing, but all other before and after school busing for middle grades would look to be eliminated at this point in time. Again, we're going to continue to provide transportation for those specialized groups. The largest cost reduction is going to take place at the high school level. Most of you are probably aware of the changes that have been identified in terms of where we're going with our academy structure. Part of the initial academy setup was to do a 5-year review of the structure and identify where changes in student interest and the job market would put the academy structure. So we were at an opportune time to really look at what we were doing with the academies and be able to identify changes that needed to take place because of student interest and job market. And then as our high school administrative team worked through that process, they did that with an eye on where can we be more efficient. And through that process, they identified how we could change the structure, continue to serve the needs of our students, but do it in a more efficient manner. And through that process, we've identified a move away from one of the current academies. So we would have one less academy in the realigned structure. And we're also looking at a move from 20 pathways to 11 pathways. I think it's important that everyone understand that while we're reducing the number of academies, reducing the number of pathways, we're still intending to provide most of the opportunities that students have had previously. A number of the pathway courses are going to continue to be offered. They're just going to be elective offerings that multiple students would be able to take regardless of which pathway they're in. So as we look at the high school cost reductions, a lot of that took place simply because of that restructuring of academies. So let's take a look at what we're proposing for changes in terms of the high school. First of all, we've identified that with the change in the academies, we would be able to eliminate the use of the Wyandotte Learning Center. So reducing the operation of one of our campus buildings certainly has a net gain in terms of our operational costs. If we're going to move away from the Wyandotte building, we have to find homes for those programs that we currently have there. So as we look at that, our education pathway will be moving back to the senior high building where it was at one time housed. Our high school newcomers program is going to be utilizing some space that we have available in the CPI building. The high school skills academy that's currently housed at Wyandotte would be moving over to where our current Success Academy facility is. And then our Success Academy program would move over to new space that we're going to begin utilizing at the Islander Annex. Along with the closing of that building, we are looking at a reduction of one administrative position, reducing 17 certified staff positions, a reduction of 2 classified staff positions, and as we did in the other building structures, we're looking at eliminating our before school and after school busing for high school students. We're going to continue to provide some students. We know we have a need with our newcomers program to do some busing throughout the day. We're going to continue to do those things, and certainly we're going to continue to have busing for some of our students who have some specialized needs. So that gives an overview of what we're looking at in terms of the different building levels, the district level, and it shows really where we expect to save the $5 million that we need to realize in savings. As we think about how these cost reduction measures are going to impact us, there's certainly some very clear pieces. Those staff who are going to be in a position where their job has been reduced are certainly going to have an impact. And as I shared earlier, we expect that almost all of those, and hopefully all of those people who want to stay with the district are going to be able to stay with the district. That's going to mean a move to a slightly different position. We recognize that, and certainly we understand the impact on people when they're asked to move from one position to another. We also recognize that as we begin sharing this story more publicly, one of the areas that media is most likely to pick up on is the fact that we are reducing staff. And that will probably become a focal point for media reporting. Again, we really want to assure all of our people that our intent is to minimize the number of staff that will be without a job in the district. And we feel confident that we're going to be able to offer positions to most, if not all, of those people who are displaced by these reductions. Now, as we think about some of the less direct impacts, I think it's important to think about where are we no longer going to have the people to support some programming. There are probably going to be some areas where we have to let some of the programming that we have previously done fall by the wayside. We recognize that with less people at the district level, there's going to be some areas where the support that we've been able to provide for staff and administrators across the district is not going to be as readily available as it has been in the past. We certainly recognize that the changes in transportation are going to impact some of our students and families in a very significant way. And I think we all need to be prepared to figure out how are we going to continue to serve the needs of those students and families. As we wrap things up, the message that I really want to make sure that we're all aware of is that we are in this together. You know, we're making cuts at every level. Everyone is going to experience some loss through our current situation. But I think in the end, we have a well thought out plan, a plan that's going to allow people plenty of time to make decisions around, you know, how is this going to impact me and what does that mean for my future, either with the district or in terms of making a decision to do something else. I think we have plenty of time for our families to understand the impact on them and to plan accordingly. Every challenge also presents an opportunity. And as we think through and work our way through this challenge, I fully expect us to come through this and you know, lean on the great people that we have here and have those people rise up and fill the needs that develop, and we will come out of this stronger than ever.